war was over, she leaves Fort Monroe. After being there and it was all said and done, she wanted to come back home to be with her family. She's on the train, has a special ticket, half price ticket that she can ride on the train, any car that she wants to ride on. And so she goes to sit in a car and gets comfortable.
The conductor told her to get out of the mixed car into the smoking car, and she refused. And while she refused, she realized, oh, we're about to fight.
He tries to take her off of her seat, this 4'11", 5-foot woman. And because Harriet, who she is, strong as an ox, he couldn't do it.
He called for reinforcements, other conductors and other passengers, and they ended up throwing her down, breaking her arm and some ribs. And she was able to find her way to New York, but with dire injuries. This is a real humiliation of her dignity, but also a violent act that she suffered.
So she ends the Civil War on this incredible low note of the new taste of the segregation and the new modes of discrimination that were going to emerge immediately out of the carcass of slavery. There's going to be no utopia of equality. Now race-based discrimination is going to take this form.
Injured but unbroken, Tubman returned to her home in Auburn, New York, to take up the struggle in new ways.
It's hard to stop a cause. She believed that it was better to live for a cause than just be cause. And this whole thing of seeing people free and fighting for equality and justice and the right to live free was just something that was within her.
Harriet Tubman took justice. I just see her as someone who epitomizes not waiting until justice catches up to the situation. She used her home in upstate New York to shelter elderly, formerly enslaved people who couldn't take care of themselves. And she was a suffragette for the women's right to vote. She was very close to Susan B. Anthony. And at one convention, Harriet Tubman was brought on stage by Anthony, and Tubman said her most famous words. I was a conductor on the Underground Railroad for 8 years, and I can say what most conductors can't. I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger.
For the last 2 years of her life, Harriet Tubman was cared for in the home she'd founded to care for others. In her lifetime, she had been enslaved and led battles in a bloody war. She'd witnessed the introduction of the telephone and electric lights. And Harriet Tubman had made history. Her singular contribution was recognized by her fellow revolutionary, Frederick Douglass.
Dear Harriet, the difference between us is very marked. Most that I have done and suffered in the service of our cause has been in public. The most you have done has been witnessed by a few trembling, scared, and footsore bondmen and women whom you have led out of the house of bondage and whose heartfelt "God bless you" has been your only reward. The midnight sky and the silent stars have been witness to your devotion to freedom and of your heroism.
In 1913, at the age of 91, Harriet Tubman passed away. Freedom fighter, visionary, patriot, Harriet Tubman left behind an audacious legacy of courage that endures.